Hello, it's my goal today to get you up and running as quickly as possible with Adobe Premiere Pro for social media purposes. When you first open up Adobe Premiere Pro, you're going to see this screen right here. We can go right up to New Project, and we can call it New Project or whatever you like. And down here, we're going to select where we save it. Now, let's talk about that for a second. You want to save it in a place that is not your OS drive or your system drive. If you're working on a laptop or even on a workstation, a PC, you're going to want to have other drives other than your system drive. And of course, a lot of PCs have that built in, but you're going to want to use a different drive. I happen to use a lot of little portable SSDs, 4 terabyte fast SSDs. They're not cheap, but you got to have them. So I'm going to choose a location to put this. I'm going to put it in this folder called tutorials. All right. That's where we're going to put new project. Okay, so that's taken care of. Now, here's a little button right here. Skip import mode. Yes, I'm going to skip the import mode because it's a waste of time. Now we're waiting for the interface. This is the main Premiere Pro interface. This thing is totally customizable. You can make these panels with any size you want. You can take a tab and you can move it to another block here. You can create a whole nother thing here. If you you hit that just right, you see that's turned kind of a green color. If you drop it there, that's going to make a whole separate thing there. I don't want that. I'm going to put this right back over here and come back. Now, this is a customized version of the editing workspace. There's workspaces available up here in this little button here. Whole bunches of them that I never use. I use my customized editing workspace set up the way I like it. And every once in a while, I'll go to the color workspace. But that's it. Let's talk about this. We have to go to the Preferences, which is under the Edit tab, Preferences, and we're going to go to Media Cache. This is something you must set up before you do your first project. The media cache is a bunch of extraneous files that are made that you will never see anywhere, but they're necessary in order to edit video. This is by default, it's set up to go to your C drive, which I don't want that. So I'm going to use my regular SSD, and I'm going to set up a media cache folder. I've just got one called cache here. We're going to use that. You can create one, and that's where those files are going to be saved. When you're finished with your project, you've exported it and you're done with it, it's a good idea to clear the cache. And you can do that right here with this delete button, and that'll get you going with that. We're ready to get a file imported and start cutting. Click the Import Media button, and I created this little clip here called Ramblin' Man, and we're going to import that. Now, in order to get this into the timeline, I'm going to close this up a little bit. It's a little too big here. There we go. In order to get this into the timeline, we simply need to left-click on it and drag it into the timeline area. This is our new sequence. And if I hit the backslash key right now, it's going to just fill it up a little bit more so we can see it better. By the way, when you do drag a clip into the timeline and create a new sequence, that sequence will reflect the properties of the clip as far as the dimensions. Like this is 1920 by 1080. It'll set it for the sound. I mean, it's all set. There's nothing else you have to do there. I'm going to put my cursor here and drag down a little bit on this audio clip. You see, we've got video here. V1 is the video, A1 is the audio, and we can have multiple video tracks and multiple audio tracks, but right now we're going to keep it simple. Now, in order to see this waveform better, I have expanded this, and we can just drag on it like this to do that. There's another way to do it. You can hold the Alt key and scroll up and down on it, and that'll do it as well. How cool is that? All right, now before we get going, a couple of things I'm going to do before we make any cuts. I'm going to highlight the clip, and I'm going to go to the Lumetri color panel. And if it's not already in your workspace, you can go to the Window tab and you can check it there, and it will open up, and then you can drag it to where you want, and you're good to go. Now, this basic correction is going to be closed up when you first open it up. So open that up and just hit the Auto key and wait a moment. Wait till you see these controls here move. And there it is. Now, that has very subtly changed the characteristics of the color and the brightness, the exposure and such on this clip. You may not be able to see it too well, and we can turn it off and on, and you're not really seeing a big difference, are you? But trust me, it's okay. I'm going to go to the Lumetri scopes and take a look at that. Now, these are the two scopes I use. This is the Parade RGB, and over here is the Vector YUV. These are the only two scopes I ever use. And I can see that we're pretty bright, and we're also pretty dark. That 0 is the darkest, 100 is the lightest. I'm going to use these controls a little bit, tone it down just a little bit. I'm going to make it less bright. And I'm going to dial the blacks up just a tad. I like kind of a milky black, and not a black where we start losing all the details in the blacks where it just becomes a black blob. All right. So just preliminary things I like to do. For me, it's a little oversaturated too. So I'm going to take the saturation and I'm just going to dial it back a little bit. There we go. Now later, before we export this as a finished video, I'm going to want to add a look to it, but that's pretty advanced stuff, and we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay. Now, in order to advance the clip and be able to see it, you simply need to hit the space key, and that'll start it. You see there's a bunch of blank space there, and then I just start talking a bunch of nonsense.
Some practice footage for you to begin editing with. I'm going to be talking off the cuff and
that's enough of that.
Pauses.
Okay, we're going to hit the space key again to stop it. Now, let's cover a couple of keyboard shortcuts here that are going to really help you out a lot. On your keyboard, a QWERTY keyboard, the J, K, and L buttons are all together. J, K, and L. If we hit the L key, it's going to advance the clip.
Edited out now.
If you hit it again, it's going to go twice as fast, again, 4 times as fast, and so on and so on. Now I'm going to hit the K key. The K key will stop it. Now the J key will move it in reverse. And again, if we hit it multiple times, there you go. And then hit the K key to stop it. Does the same thing as the space. K key does the same thing as the space key. And that might come in handy for you. Now we're going to go into something a little more advanced, but it's really going to save you a lot of time. Remember, I'm going to remove this playhead. This is the playhead, also called the CTI, or current time indicator. I just call it the playhead. I'm going to move it back to the beginning. I'm going to hit the plus key to open this up a little bit, zoom in on it a little bit. And I don't want all this blank space up front. So I'm going to move it to right before I start talking, and I'm going to hit the Q key. Boom, and it's gone. Isn't that great? Now, the Q key is top left of your keyboard. The QWERTY keyboard starts with Q, and the next letter is W, and that also comes in handy. So I can see another big pause right here.
I'm going to be talking.
I don't want that. So I'm going to go to the beginning of the pause, and I'm going to hit Control or Command if you're on Mac, and I'm going to Control K, and it's going to put a cut in there. And then I'm going to just move it up to where I start talking again. Now I'm going to hit the Q key again. Boom, and there you go. I can see another pause here. But this time I'm going to go here, not to where I stop talking, but where I start talking again. This is just to show you another way of doing this. And Control K to put a cut in there. And now I'm going to move it back to where I stop talking, and I'm going to hit the W key. So whether you're doing it on the left or on the right of the pause, there's a key for that. The Q and W are going to save you a ton of time, and I hope that you start using them right away. And I wished I had known that 20 years ago when I started using Premiere Pro, but it took me a while to learn that one. Okay, now we could go all through this and do this everywhere there's a pause, but I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm hitting the backslash key again. Okay, we're going to just immediately let's cut off the end of this. Going to go there, and what do we hit? W. There we go. And that big empty piece at the end is gone. Now, I specifically used a lot of filler words and pauses in this video, as you can tell from watching this just a little bit. A little embarrassing for me, but I did it on purpose.
Really great. I'm not sure where to go.
Okay, so that's a pause and a filler word. That's a filler word. So we're going to do something here that's going to blow your mind. I think you're going to love this. We're going to go to the text panel and look. The whole video has already been transcribed. How is that happening? Well, it's a fairly new feature in Premiere Pro. Been around for a couple of years. But by default, your clips will automatically be transcribed unless you turn that off. And that's part of that import mode that we skipped right over. Well, I like to have a transcription all the time anyway, so I don't mess with it. I just let the transcription happen, okay? Now, you'll notice at the top of this text panel, there's a funnel. I'm going to click on that. And first, I'm going to go down here to filler words. And look, all the filler words are highlighted where I went, that sort of thing. And I'm going to click delete and then delete all. Now watch what happens down here on the timeline when I click delete all. Boom. You notice that the whole piece just got shorter because the filler words were taken out. Well, let's do the same thing for pauses. Do the funnel, pauses, delete all. And now my video is about 30 seconds shorter. And that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. Now let's go through it and just start editing what else is left in it that we don't want in it. I'm hitting the plus key and here we go.
This is just going to be some practice footage for you to begin editing with. I'm going to be talking off the cuff and using pauses and filler words.
Okay, you can see this is okay. It could be tighter, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But you'll also notice that what we are left with here is a bunch of what we call jump cuts, where you'll see the video jump, and because I have this rotating X thing down here, you can see it jump. And I say, so what? I like jump cuts. Let's go ahead and make the edits we want to make.
Filler words, because those things can very easily, quickly be edited out now. And it's really, really great.
Okay, so there was a pause here that the text panel did not catch. So I'm going to put the playhead right there, Control K, move this up to where close to where I start talking again, and we're going to hit the Q key, and that's going to cut that out.
Now, and it's really, really great. I'm not sure where to go with.
Okay, I'm going to cut this one out. There's already a cut there, so I don't need to make a cut. I'm just going to put the playhead there and hit the W. Boom.
Great. I'm not sure where to go with all of this, but I'm going to try to make it semi-interesting, at least for someone out there. I am retired now. I was a professional video editor for about 25 years. And
I don't need that and in there. Let's just move it up here. There's already a cut here, so let's hit the W key. Boom, gone. Isn't that great?
25 years. I retired and I built the studio.
There's a little bit of a pause there. I don't like it, so I'm going to hit Control K. There we go. And just move it up here a little bit. Just tightening this up. And we're going to hit the Q key, right? There we go.
I built the studio for my retirement. Have some place to play. It's good for both podcasting. As you can see here, this is the podcasting section of the
Okay, I'm just going to cut that little pause out. Control K again. And move it up and Q. There we go.
Podcasting section of the studio. The rest of the studio is for music recording. I have a full drum kit behind me.
Now you notice I'm grabbing this little bar down here to move it manually like that. Sometimes I just like to get it centered up on the screen.
And there's guitars and amplifiers.
By the way, this little bar also does zooming if you grab it on the little button on the end, and there's buttons on both ends for doing that.
I have a full drum kit.
You see that the transcript is following along. Isn't that cool?
Behind me. And there's guitars and amp.
I don't need this and in there, so I'm going to cut that out. What do we hit? W. There we go.
Drum kit behind me. There's guitars and amplifiers and everything else in here. And before I was a video editor, I was a professional entertainer and musician. I toured.
Okay, there's a pause there I don't like. So again, Control K, move the playhead back, and what are we going to hit? W. All right.
Entertainer and musician. I toured all over North America for about 12 years before my wife and I bought our first house and started a family. We had 2 children.
Now I'm just going to cut that pause down a little bit. I'm leaving some of the pauses in because they don't bother me. And some of these can just be tightened up a little bit. W. There we go.
The family. We had 2 children, both of whom are adults now, and life is good. So
We don't need that and in there, so I'm going to cut it out and hit the Q key. There we go.
children, both of whom are adults now. Life is good. So I've purposely left the air conditioning on and the ceiling fans running, so we have some background noise. And now I have a helicopter outside I can hear. We have a helicopter that flies around the house.
All right, now this is an excellent point, and we're gonna deal with sound in a minute, but this clip is almost over, and then we'll talk about how to improve the sound quality of my voice.
4 times a week because we're really close to a hospital, and the helicopter's always coming down and landing. But we can edit all that extraneous.
Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff here. I'm going to zoom in on it. Plus key, right?
It's coming down and landing, but we can edit all.
Okay, but I'm going to have to zoom way in on this.
But
and I'm going to put a cut right there. And now I'm going to zoom out.
Down
and I'm going to get rid of this crap here. Again, that's the W key.
Looking down, and we can edit all that extraneous noise out with the tools we have now in Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's really something. Well, that's about it for now, and I hope that you've enjoyed this little ridiculousness. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so
This is just
let's talk about how to improve the sound quality. We've just completely edited the clip, and now we are going to improve the sound quality. Now, all I have to do, if I have one clip selected, all I have to do is hit Control A, and it's going to select all the clips. Now, we're not worried about the video right now. The video is not going to be affected by any adjustments we make to the sound. You can just click this little button right here, and we can see where the essential sound panel is. There are 2 ways of doing this, my way and everybody else's way. Under preset, I'm going to choose balanced low tone voice. And that's good for my voice because I have a male voice. And that's automatically going to adjust the loudness. You notice that the waveform here is much bigger than it was before. I've still got this warning thing here, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Let it go. I'm also going to click Repair. And I'm going to click on Reduce Noise. And I found that its default setting of 3.0 decibels is a really good setting. So we're going to leave it right there. Sometimes you might want to increase it. There are some other cleanup things here. You might have some kind of low-level 60-cycle hum or something, and this will get rid of that if you have that, but we don't have that. De-essing by default, that's on because of the preset that I chose. That's fine. Let's leave that alone. There's also reduce reverb. Now, this is pretty heavy-handed. I usually adjust this to about 1.5 or so. This will take out any extraneous room reverb. And it works. It works really well. Just don't use too much of it. Your voice will start to sound weird. Okay, EQ, all that, never mind. We're out of the repair area now. I can close that up. All the rest of these are set according to this preset that I used from my voice. Now, let's listen to my voice, and we'll do kind of a before and after here.
Quickly be edited out now. And it's really, really great. I'm not sure where to go with all of this, but I'm going to try to make it semi-interesting, at least for...
Now, the thing I did not do was use enhanced speech. I could have, but I didn't. For this video, it's not needed. Enhanced speech is for those times when you've recorded an audio track that has a lot of background noise. Once you've clicked on that, first of all, it's going to take time to process every single one of these clips individually. It takes quite a while. even on a good machine. And then once it has processed it, then you can adjust the amount of that to what sounds good to you. Now, the problem that I have with it is it frequently puts in extra weirdness that I don't want in my, that causes me extra time, extra editing time to get the weird. Sometimes it'll put in gibberish words. It's just crazy. And I have opted to not use it whenever possible. So just, if you've recorded something outside and there's a lot of traffic noise, maybe your voice isn't as upfront as you would like it to be, the enhanced speech can really do a number on that. And that's what it's for. I wouldn't use it in the studio unless my sound was really, really bad. So that's the name of that tune. All right. Now, the good news is this video, as is ready to be exported and uploaded to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you'd like to upload it. So let's cover the export process quickly here. Under the File tab, we're going to go down to Export, and I am going to choose Send to Adobe Media Encoder. And we're going to wait for Adobe Media Encoder to start up. Here's Adobe Media Encoder, and there's our file waiting to be exported. This is the format, H.264. There's a bunch of other stuff under here. Forget about it. You're going to export an MP4 to upload to social media. Match source, that's fine. That means it's going to be 1080p. Again, there's a bunch of other things. There's even very specific ones for YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, blah, 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 blah. And you don't need that. Just use match source. You're good to go. And this one, of course, is the name of the file and where it's going to be stored. I don't want it in this directory. I want it in another directory. And since I'm using SSDs that are real fast, I can just put it in the same directory where the original clip is. And I have created a folder in here called Exports. And I'm just going to make sure that I put my final videos in the Exports folder. That's strictly personal preference. Now hit go, and we'll watch this thing being exported. There's a progress bar here. You can see this is going to go really fast. I have an RTX 4090, which really, really assists in the export process. And you can see this video is now exported. If I click on this link right here, it's going to open up the folder, and it's over on another screen. Let me drag it over. It's going to open up the folder where that video is. And this is the video that you're going to upload to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, whatever. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. In the next video, we're going to take this same project and we're going to talk about how to add music to it. And in other videos, we're going to do other things like add a color grade to it and some other things that you might want to do before you upload your video to social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Stan Arthur, and I sure hope that you will like and subscribe to my video. That really, really helps a lot, and helps small channels like mine. It's been around for 19 years and is still small, but help me out. Click the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.